It's Thursday, right? Thursday, all day long. It's Thursday. But it's more than Thursday. So I'm told, right? There was something in the air. Not as many people showed up to work. Not as many people up on the streets. That's because what's-his-name signed this into a federal holiday. Thursday, June 19th, 2025 isn't just June 19th, 2025. It's Juneteenth, right? Hit the music, everybody. Yeah, Juneteenth. Whatever. Nobody knows what this day is. It's true. I want to see that picture of Joe Biden signing that executive order making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Why did he do that? It was a scam to undermine Trump. It was a cheap campaign trick and real disrespect, actually, Joe Biden showed to African Americans everywhere. So it is a federal holiday. Yeah, legally it is. And what was off? Who didn't have to come to work today? Can I see that list, please? I think it was like the post office, the bank, government offices, of course, the feds, right? Lots of institutions closed down for a holiday that really nobody understands. At best, they have a vague idea, including me, what this thing is all about. Take a look.
What is Juneteenth?
What is Juneteenth? You know what Juneteenth is.
I don't know. You got
No idea?
No idea.
Is that is a celebration of, I don't want this to be wrong, so I don't want it to be on the news.
It's the celebration of, now don't ask me what state, where they took the state and they actually messed up the homes of all the blacks that lived there. They ruined it. And then now it's celebrated as Juneteenth.
I think basically it's a time for like little kids come together or something like that.
I mean, it's a long story. I know really what happened, but it was a Wall Street for the blacks, I think so.
For some reason, it's recognized as a holiday that there was a gap between when the people knew they were freed in, I believe, Texas, and they didn't learn until June 19th. So there was a period of time they're actually freed and didn't know it.
I think you might be right, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
All right. But
But to me, it's a bizarre holiday because it's basically celebrating not knowing you're free.
It's an interesting way of putting it. I still don't know what it is. And I'm sorry, but, you know, it was a political trick. But now that we have it in the middle of the proverbial long, hot summer, they coined that phrase back in the 60s to connote, well, riots that tend to take place during the summer. And maybe a day off in the middle of a long, hot summer where you only have a vague idea of what the hell it's all about isn't such a good idea. Years past indicate that, no, it was actually a very bad idea. Take a look.
At a Juneteenth celebration in Willowbrook, Illinois, 1 dead, 22 injured. At a party in St. Louis, Missouri, 1 dead, 9 injured.
Chaos and panic in the streets of D.C. after gunfire erupted at a packed Juneteenth concert and festival. Police say the unauthorized event was being shut down after a series of fights and issues with the massive crowd.
No, that is straight up gunshots.
And then around 8:30 p.m., a gunman opening fire, killing a teenager police say was 15 years old and injuring 3 others, including a D.C. police officer.
In Illinois, authorities are trying to figure out who opened fire at a Juneteenth celebration in the Chicago suburb of Willowbrook. That was overnight. 1 person died and at least 22 others were injured.
Yikes. Look at all that stuff all over the place. Juneteenth. And nobody really knows what it is, all right? I know there's some nice posters out there and people shaking hands, but why did Joe Biden write this executive order making it into a holiday, huh? Why did he? What was really going on? It was all an attempt to get Trump. Now, here's President Trump, June 20th, 2020, at a rally. It was right in the middle of the campaign, but it was also right in the middle of COVID. You'll remember we had to stay home and it was getting ridiculous. People like Gavin Newsom could go out and party, but the rest of us, they hassled people for going to church. It was getting crazy. President Trump knew that the longer people stayed home, the more risk, the more depression, alcoholism, you name it, it was going to get worse if you stayed inside. So he had that rally, and everybody freaked out about it because, oh my gosh, they looked it up. How can we get Trump on something? It's June 19th, and that is Juneteenth. They had to dust off some encyclopedia or really dig deep on the internet to find that out. They had him on something. They could screw up his rally and call him a racist at the same time.
Trump is so oblivious, he didn't even realize how messed up it would be to have a rally on Juneteenth.
Listen, Brother Trump, man, I'm born in Tulsa, so I don't want to get started with Tulsa now.
Donald Trump originally planned his first rally on Juneteenth, just right by the site of one of the worst racist slaughters in American history.
This is so preposterous, all of it, right? And everything that happened to President Trump, really, it was all from the establishment, from the media, a trap, a series of traps to try to get him. And nothing was off limits, really. You could, well, lying about him. You could lie about him all you wanted to, especially in book form. I really find this appalling. They were writing terrible lies about President Trump every step of the way. Check this out. None of it's true.
During the interview, he was surprised to find out that his own administration had put out statements in each of his first 3 years in office commemorating Juneteenth. That night, Trump turned to a Secret Service agent who was black and asked him about Juneteenth. Yes, the agent told Trump, I know what it is, and it's very offensive to me that you're having this rally on Juneteenth.
A Secret Service agent who was black turned to President Trump and said, I know what it is, and I'm offended that you're having the rally. That's not true. It didn't happen. I have the proof that it didn't happen. He may have been surprised about the statements, but nobody really had a grasp on what this thing is, and they still don't. All right, number one, from the actual transcript of what went down in that interview. Oh, Michael Bender is the reporter/author. Bad guy, notorious liar. People don't understand this about the media. They make stuff up all the time to enhance a story, to make a story, to... Anyway, let's go to the transcript. Yeah, there was a moment here, Mr. Trump, I did something good. I made it famous. I made Juneteenth very famous. It's actually an important event. It's an important time, but nobody had heard of it. He's right. Next, please. This is the part. Very few people have heard of it. Actually, a young African-American Secret Service agent knew what it was. I had political people who had no idea. The whole idea that this Secret Service agent confronted him and said, I am very offended. No, that did not happen. And here's more proof, for crying out loud. President Trump is not honoring Juneteenth, whatever it is. Obama, he didn't care about Juneteenth. He cracked jokes every Juneteenth. It was a big joke to him about whatever.
I want to express my appreciation for the opportunity to tell jokes that weren't funny enough for me to use when we did this 5 weeks ago. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever is right. That's inside the Beltway humor, not funny outside. That was in 2009, June 19th. He overlooked Juneteenth. All right, well, it was early in his time as president. What about a little bit later, say 2015? Did he get the Juneteenth thing going by then?
At the White House, he had the old Bulls theme song, and it set a very high bar, as if I was Michael Jordan coming out.
Michael Jordan. It's always, all of his jokes, he was just worried about looking cool, not about actually hitting the line. But, all right, so what happened with the Juneteenth, President Trump? They actually postponed the rally because of the uproar, fake uproar. They made it on June 20th, and it was, well, because they changed the date, it wasn't the most well-attended rally ever. It was in the middle of COVID, and they made a huge deal about a couple of empty seats, right? I mean, you gotta You know, not everything's going to be perfect when you try for greatness, right? It's not going to be perfect, but it's still going to be great in the long run. President Trump came out of that rally, got on the Air Force One and headed home and got off the helicopter. And this is what he looked like. I don't see a problem with that. Take it full. I've seen a lot of people like this. I've seen my father like this. It's called coming home after a hard day at work. Not everything is easy in life, right? They tried to make this an iconic picture in a negative way. Ooh, look at President Trump, so defeated. A fake news reporter by the name of John Carl put this on his book, right, as like the ultimate insult. But it's actually the ultimate compliment for those who kind of know something about hard work. And it's not just about looking cool. These people don't understand that.
This was the picture of a man who looked quite discouraged. He looked exhausted. He looked, and he didn't really look mad, although, of course, we know from sources close to him that he was mad.
It looked like he felt defeated as he was walking out of Marine One.
My understanding is that he did feel defeated.
He really does look defeated in that video. The fact that we're seeing him with his tie undone, that crumpled MAGA hat in his hand.
So what? A hard day's work. These are the same people who pretended Joe Biden wasn't a vegetable for half of his presidency. And they get on this guy and they try to make him look like a racist because of this Juneteenth that none of them understand, all to protect really the ultimate racist himself, Joe Biden, because this is the essence of racism.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
How about that one, huh? That probably should have dropped out of the campaign right there, but it was just ignored like everything else. This corrupt system, this corrupt culture, we're fixing it, correcting it. So President Trump was tired after a hard day's work, huh? And as a result of that, the swamp gets a holiday, Juneteenth, and all of the government workers can stay home on this phony baloney, nobody understands it day. It was all to get Trump, huh? How about that? What did they get off again? Let's see that. Wall Street banks, schools, post offices. Wow. That must be nice. Regarding all the closures, just a few moments ago, President Trump put this on Truth Social, that maybe we have too many days off, too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars to keep all of these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. It must change if we are going to make America great again. Yeah, I know, like France, European countries, they take a lot of time off. America doesn't. So we have a choice to make, don't we?
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.